There are three completely different money strategies hiding inside this video. One for $50,000, one for $100,000, and one for $150,000 plus. And if you're using the wrong one for your income, you're either taking on risk you don't need to or leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. As your income grows, your financial strategy needs to shift through three phases. At $50,000, you're playing defense. The goal is building a foundation that doesn't collapse the first time something goes wrong. At $100,000, you're playing offense through automation. The goal is putting your savings on autopilot so growth doesn't depend on willpower. And at $150,000 and up, the game changes entirely. Taxes become your biggest expense. Bigger than your mortgage, bigger than anything. The goal shifts to efficiency and compounding. Let's start where most people are. Part 1, $50,000, Defense and Foundation. If you're bringing home around $3,400 a month after taxes, every single dollar needs a job. Not a rough budget, an actual sequence. Here's the order that matters. Priority 1, kill high interest debt. The average person carries around $6,000 in credit card and buy now, pay later balances. At typical interest rates, that's roughly $100 a month just leaking out in interest. Money that does nothing for you. No investment strategy beats a 20% plus guaranteed loss. Before anything else, this gets handled first. Priority 2, capture your full employer 401k match. If your employer matches 4% of your salary, that's not a bonus, and that's a 100% instant return on your money. On a $50,000 salary, that's about $2,000 a year in free money. Skipping this is the single most common way people leave money on the table early in their career. Priority 3, build an emergency fund. Start small, 1 month of expenses, so around $3,400, before you build toward the full 3 to 6 month goal. The point of this fund isn't to make you rich, it's to make sure a car repair or a medical bill doesn't send you back into credit card debt. Undoing priority 1. Priority 4, open a Roth IRA. You're likely in one of the lowest tax brackets you'll ever be in. That makes right now the cheapest time to pay taxes on your contributions in exchange for tax-free growth forever. The 2026 limit is $7,500 a year. Even $200 a month, started at $25, grows to roughly $700,000 by retirement, now is untaxed. Priority 5, invest in yourself. At this income level, your hourly value is roughly $25. A skill, certification, or credential that gets you a raise or a better job often outperforms any stock market return you could realistically get. This is the one investment that compounds your entire strategy going forward. The goal at $50,000 isn't to get rich, it's to build the habits and the safety net that everything else gets built on top of. Part 2, $100,000, Automation and Optimization. Median household income in the US is around $84,000, so if you're at $100,000, you're comfortable, but you're not rich, and treating it like you are is the most common mistake at this stage. The real goal here is different from $50,000. You're not just surviving anymore, you're buying yourself flexibility. That means automating growth instead of managing it manually. Move 1. Automate your savings, reverse budgeting. Instead of spending first and saving whatever's left, flip it. Save first automatically and spend what remains. A 15% savings rate on $100,000 is roughly $900 a month, moved automatically into an IRA, a Roth, or a taxable brokerage account the moment you get paid. $10,800 a year invested starting at age 30 grows to roughly $2 million by 65. That's not a guess, and that's what consistent automated investing does over time. Move 2. Open a health savings account if you're eligible. The HSA is arguably the most underused account in personal finance because it's the only account with a triple tax advantage. Contributions are deductible, growth is tax-free, and withdrawals for medical expenses are tax-free. The advanced move: invest the HSA funds like a retirement account, pay current medical bills out of pocket, and save the receipts. You can reimburse yourself for tax-free years, even decades, later, letting the account grow completely untouched in the meantime, 2026 limits are $4,400 for individuals and $8,750 for families. Move 3, know your actual number. Not a vague, I want to retire someday. An actual number. Take your annual spending and multiply it by 25. That's the amount you need invested to sustain that spending using the 4% rule. Spend $60,000 a year. Your number is $1.5 million. Here's what most people miss. Your savings rate, not your income, determines how fast you get there. Save 20% of your income and you're looking at roughly 37 years to financial independence. Save 50% and that drops to around 17 years. At $100,000, the shift is mental as much as financial. You're no longer asking, am I okay this month? You're asking, when am I actually done? Part 3, $150,000 to $200,000 plus. Tax efficiency and compounding. Once you cross into this bracket, something changes. Your biggest expense is no longer your house, your car, or your lifestyle. It's the government. At a marginal rate of 24% to 35% plus, taxes quietly become the largest single line item in your financial life. And most high earners never build a strategy around that fact. Move 1. The backdoor Roth IRA. Once you're above roughly $153,000 as a single filer, you're phased out of contributing to a Roth IRA directly. The workaround: contribute to a traditional IRA, then convert it to a Roth. It's legal, it's common, and high earners have used it for years. One caution: if you already have pre-tax money sitting in a traditional IRA, you'll want to understand the pro rata rule before doing this, or you could create an unexpected tax bill. Move 2, the mega backdoor Roth, if your employer offers it. This one's available mostly at larger companies, especially in tech, but it's enormous if you have access. On top of your regular 401k contribution of $24,500, some plans let you contribute up to an additional $42,500 in after-tax dollars, and then convert that to Roth. That's a potential $67,000 a year in tax advantage savings in a single account. Most people at this income level have never even heard of this option. Move 3, diversify deliberately, not accidentally. Under 50, a common allocation is 80 to 100% equities, with maybe 5 to 10% in alternatives like precious metals or crypto for diversification. Over 50, that typically shifts toward 60 to 70% equities to reduce volatility as retirement approaches. And don't ignore international exposure. An ETF with global reach protects you from being overly dependent on US markets alone. Move 4, manage your RSUs like the asset they are, not like a lottery ticket. If you work in tech or a public company, restrict stock units get taxed as ordinary income the moment they vest, whether you sell them or not. The move most financial advisors recommend: sell upon vesting and reinvest into a diversified portfolio. Holding onto a huge pile of your own company's stock feels loyal, but it's concentration risk. A general rule: don't let any single company stock make up more than a third of your total portfolio. At this level, the goal isn't just growing your money anymore, it's protecting what you've already built and making sure taxes aren't quietly eating your returns every single year. Let's bring it all together. At $50,000, you're building the foundation, killing debt, capturing your match, and getting into the habit of investing, even in small amounts. At $100,000, you're automating that foundation, putting savings on autopilot and figuring out exactly what done looks like for you. And at $150,000 and beyond, you're protecting and compounding what you've built using every legal tool available to keep more of what you earn. None of these stages skip the one before it. Defense becomes automation. Automation becomes compounding. Each one builds directly on the last. So wherever you are on this list right now, go calculate your own number. Multiply your annual spending by 25. That single number will tell you exactly what you're working toward and how far you actually have left to go. If this helped, subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and I'll see you in the next one.